Is Secretary of State Marco Rubio crying wolf? Or is there a genuine, existential threat looming just 90 miles off the coast of Florida? The diplomatic war of words between Washington and Havana has reached a boiling point, and the accusations being thrown around aren't just sharp, they are deeply personal. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and ensures you don't miss any of our deep dive reports on the stories that actually shape our future. The situation exploded this week when Cuba's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bruno Rodriguez Perea, decided to go on the offensive. In a direct response to recent comments made by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the Cuban official didn't mince words. He sat down for a rare interview and addressed the growing concern regarding Cuba's status as a threat to American national security. His message was blunt, calling out Rubio's assessment as a fabrication. In all areas, he lies on and on, Rodriguez stated, essentially characterizing the Secretary of State's stance as a political fantasy rather than a reality based on intelligence. This isn't just a squabble over policy. It's a direct challenge to the legitimacy of the current administration's foreign policy agenda. Rubio, a longtime hardliner when it comes to the Cuban regime, has consistently argued that the island nation poses a significant, multifaceted threat to U.S. interests, ranging from regional instability to intelligence gathering by foreign adversaries. But by publicly labeling Rubio a liar, the Cuban government is signaling that they are no longer interested in the traditional diplomatic dance. They are shifting the battlefield to the public eye, hoping to undermine the credibility of one of Washington's most vocal critics of their regime. What does this mean for the average American? First, it signals that the status quo in the Caribbean is becoming increasingly volatile. When a foreign official goes on an American network to personally attack a high-ranking cabinet member, it indicates that the channels of communication are either completely clogged or entirely broken. If we cannot even agree on the nature of the threat, or if the threat is even real, how can the State Department formulate a policy that actually protects our interests? Furthermore, this dynamic puts the Biden administration in a corner. Do they double down on Rubio's rhetoric to maintain a unified front, or do they attempt to pivot toward a more nuanced approach? If they double down, they risk further escalation with a regime that has clearly decided to adopt a scorched-earth PR strategy. If they pivot, they risk looking weak to those who believe that keeping a tight grip on Cuba is essential for hemispheric security. We are looking at a potential flashpoint that could involve everything from energy security to immigration flows. Yet both sides seem more interested in winning a news cycle than engaging in substantive diplomacy. The timing of this is also crucial. As we navigate a global environment filled with geopolitical landmines, the last thing the United States needs is a messy, public, and personal feud with a neighbor. Whether you view Rubio's warnings as necessary vigilance or alarmist rhetoric, it is impossible to ignore that the geopolitical stakes are rising. The influence of other global powers in Cuba is no longer a fringe theory, it is a central component of the modern debate. Is this a strategic move by Cuba to play the victim, or are we being fed a narrative that doesn't hold up under objective scrutiny? So what do you think about this? Is the Cuban government just projecting their own failings? Or is Marco Rubio overstepping his bounds for political gain? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to know where you stand on this escalation. As we continue to track this story, one thing is certain. The rhetoric is only going to get louder. Washington and Havana are locked in a struggle that defined much of the last century, and it shows no signs of cooling down. Stay tuned as we monitor the official responses coming out of the State Department in the coming hours. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next report.